Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Too busy reading up on contracts.
Now you've got a starry sky behind you.
Do this. Yeah, I was too busy reading up on contracts. Do you... I don't think I'd be... I don't know. I go back and forth as to whether or not I'd be a good lawyer. Because, like, there are things that I do well that I think are very lawyerly. Of, like, I think I argue well. And I think I do have an attention to detail, but I think that's just being, like, an editor, right? But one thing I've realized in talking with my lawyer friends... being a lawyer is boring as hell.
I think I'm going to disagree with you there. I think it depends on what type of law you go into.
There's just it's all paperwork.
Yeah.
It's a job entirely comprised of paperwork.
I mean, I'm supposed to be a journalist and my job is 90% paperwork.
Well, I don't know. What are you doing right now?
I said 90%.
I agree that you and I have a fair amount of paperwork in our job. I think we grossly underestimate the amount of paperwork that lawyers go through.
Yeah.
There's just they do a lot.
They also get paid a ton of money.
They get paid a lot of money, which seems cool. But we went to, this weekend we went to a friend's, went and met some friends on Saturday in their neighborhood, at their, like, neighborhood pool. And now our friends live in like a nice part of town, right? They live in in a very nice part of town. And I couldn't help but and so Hank's having a great time, Mac's having a great time, right? I could not help but feel like everyone could tell. They're like, "Ooh,
You live in a nice part of town.
You're a guest, aren't you? You're a guest."
I'm going to completely refute that with you and your cute little wife and 2 perfect little children. I don't think anybody looked at you and said, smells like broke.
Let me put it to you this way.
Don't think that's happening.
Let me put it to you this way. Hank wanted to go to the snack stand, right? So we go to the snack stand. You know what they had at the snack stand? Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots are good?
Dippin' Dots. That feels like a luxury item, right? Dippin' Dots has always struck me as a luxury ice cream. Like Bluebell, that's the ice cream of the people, right? That's the ice cream of the working man. That's the ice cream of the 99%. Dippin' Dots feels like the ice cream not only of the future but also of the elite.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Like, think about all the places that you eat Dippin' Dots.
I think Bluebell is luxury ice cream.
I think it's
but I think it's 2 separate things. I get what you're saying. Like, if you're talking about half gallons.
It tastes luxurious, but I think it's affordable. Like, Bluebell's pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Cost of doing business has gone up for everybody, but I think Bluebell's pretty affordable.
I think Bluebell is the luxurious, like, normal. When you consider ice cream and you think of half gallon or pints, Bluebell is the luxurious thing of that. I think Dippin' Dots are like separate things. Like, I think of that as like a snack, like a level up. Like, I don't ever think of that as like I'm going to the store to get ice cream. I don't ever think of Dippin' Dots. Like, I feel like they're 2 separate things.
That's true. But like Ben and Jerry's is like, that's luxury. You consider that to be like luxury grocery store ice cream.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I felt out of place, Pickle.
I don't buy that.
I'm just a man of the people.
I don't buy that at all.
99%. Stand in solidarity, with the working man, the blue collar.
Yes, you scream blue collar. Yep.
What is that?
Yep.
It's my blue collar. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you give off huge blue collar vibes. Glad we're all on the same page here.
I sure do. Thank you for knowing that. Thank you for appreciating that. Thank you. Hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the air sign. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show that keeps waiting for the future to get here because Dippin' Dots has been the ice cream of the future for a hot minute now. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine. TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places. Or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's Duchess of the Dorks. I haven't told you this. I like your shirt a lot.
Oh, thanks.
She's Ashley Pickle.
Yeah, check it out. Howdy.
What is it?
How cool is that?
Where'd you get that?
Denton.
That is a cool.
Denton has a.
I've been thoroughly outshirted.
Yeah, hang on. I'll look up because I want to give him a shout out. It's a really cool little shop full of like a bunch of Texas stuff. Hang on, I'll look it up in a second. I'll let you continue your intro.
State of Texas has got some vibes.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. I was pumped about this one.
Today is Monday, July 23rd, or 31st rather, not 23rd. Where'd you get that, Greg? Oh, because you were saying 2023. That's why. 2023, 115 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Greg Powers.
Yes.
Today is the birthday of the director of recruiting for Dave Campbell's Texas football, our friend Greg Powers.
We love Powers.
And he
Happy
tried
birthday,
to sneak
Powers.
it by us. Did you notice that?
Yep.
Like, we were talking baseball, and then he just, like, slipped in. He's like, today's my birthday. But, like, normally today's is the trade deadline day. And we were like, whoa, back up. So happy 24th birthday to Greg Powers.
Correct.
The handsomest man on our staff. The most trustworthy man on our staff. And let's be honest, the most valuable man on our staff. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair. Yeah. Shout out Greg Powers.
You get no argument out of there.
It's episode 1,600 and something. I don't know.
624.
24. There it is.
I can't find the name of the shop.
On today's show, folks, we've got headlines from across the state, including the once and future Big 12 bunkmate, the beginning of Texas high school football, and a notable name change. We'll get into that. And then back half of the show, it's the annual State of the Vipers address with Vandergrift head coach Drew Sanders. I sat down with him at the TXHSFB Coaching School and Convention, and we went through, look, I asked the hard questions. We talked about what is the state of the Vipers there in Vandergrift. It's our annual State of the Vipers address with Drew Sanders of the state runner-up Vandergrift Vipers coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It's one of you. You know who you are. You're getting skipped because I don't read lies on the air. So we'll skip him. Nick Morton, Andrew Christensen, Tony Blaylock, and Ed McElroy. Welcome in, fellas. I'm not reading the other one. If you want to find out, you can go to YouTube and see the lies that are being portrayed on there, but we're not doing it. Not on this programming. It's called Texas Football Today for a reason.
Oh, on that. Yeah, okay. If it involves Texas slander, not going to do that.
Nope. I have a stinking howdy on my shirt. I'm not reading slander to the state of Texas.
The howdy's wearing
you
boots.
You can done yeet yourself on out of here.
Howdy's wearing the state of Texas wearing boots.
We're not messing around.
Respect on it. It's time for some headlines, Pickle, across the state of Texas. Let's start with the biggest headline. The biggest headline is, hey, it's football season.
Correct.
Did you know that? Sorry, I didn't mean to go out of order. It's football season. The 2023 Texas high school football season kicked off this morning at midnight. There were programs across the state who were celebrating Midnight Madness, which is where so the UIL says that you cannot start practice until July 31st. That's today. That's the this year's date. It's a moving target, but it's X number of weeks before.
They usually try to start it on a Monday. That's why
Monday.
It just fell that way.
So, July 31st. And so a number of programs across the state said, why wait? So there were a number of programs out there that were out there.
I think there are some programs holding off until tomorrow on August 1st. I could be wrong about that. I thought I saw some of them.
Wouldn't be surprised. But some of them got going at midnight last night. I saw Corpus Christi Miller got going last night at midnight. I know that Happy got going at midnight last night. Our friend Cale Steed was out there at Happy's practice in the middle of the night. So exciting times. Today is the first day. If you did not do spring ball, you get your extra day of fall camp this year. And so that is what's going on with these programs. So exciting times. Football season's here. We made it. I know it doesn't feel like because it's July. And everything, by the way, is because everything's shifted forward. This is the earliest I think it's ever been in the modern era.
Which rules, because that means that the state championships are like a week earlier than what they usually do, which rules.
Because my wife and I were planning out, we were talking about holidays this weekend, and we were looking and we're like, oh, wow, like we have a full week between the end of state championships and Christmas.
Yeah, and then for me, the Cotton Bowl is before like all the New Year's stuff, so it'll be like, great. Man, this calendar,
it's good calendar,
exceptional.
It's good calendar.
We should do this every year.
Happy Texas high school football season. Okay, now we'll go back to the other Chiron. So there was some news last week that Colorado is going to rejoin, is the only way to phrase it, the Big 12. Now, you may remember that the first real smattering of realignment came back in the late part of the last decade. Specifically, when you take a look at with Colorado, This was a program that who is calling me during the show? Don't call me during the show. Colorado and Nebraska both left in 2011. Colorado went off to the Pac-12. Nebraska went off to the Big Ten. Colorado has been in the Pac-12 ever since. There has been some extra turmoil while they have been gone. For example, 2 more schools, Mizzou and A&M left. 2 more schools, Oklahoma and Texas, announced their intention to depart next year. And they've added 6 other teams in that span. TCU, West by God, Virginia, Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU. So the way that the Big 12 is going to shake out this year is that they have this big 14-team Big 12, right? But then Texas and Oklahoma are going to leave. And look, we're back to the Big 12. Amazing. We did it.
I was going to say, this is a clear-cut sign that if any other football conferences come up, let's quit putting numbers to them, please.
Stop.
Like, no more numbered conferences.
Literally none of the conferences have their number right now.
None of them.
So Colorado announced last week that they will be leaving the Pac-12 and joining the Big Ten. I'm sorry, the Big 12. Now, this comes on the heels of the Pac-12's own existential crisis. You may remember that 2 of their high-profile programs, USC, which is pretty much by far the most valuable property in the Pac-12, and UCLA, announced that they will be joining the Big Ten starting next year. Now, Colorado is going to be joining the Pac-12 or the Big 12, which is leaving the Pac-12 as it stands right now for next year at 9 teams. A lot of this, and I don't want to speculate, but a lot of this seems to come down to the Pac-12's dragging their feet on a TV rights deal.
Yep.
So you have to flash back. And a lot of this does have to do with the Big 12, because I think the Big 12 kind of set the pace on this. The Big 12, when Brent Yormark, the new
hip commissioner,
the Poochie of commissioners, when he took over the Big 12, one of the things he did was he said, all right, we are going to tear up our current TV contract, and we're going to go to market now. We're going to go to market, and we're going to renegotiate a new TV deal right now, basically. By doing that, they didn't have to do that for like 6 more years or like 4 more years. But by doing that, they jumped in front of line of the Pac-12, who was going to be the next team due for their deal, right? They got their deal. I think ESPN and Fox did their deal. The Pac-12 is like, okay, well, now we're going to go negotiate our deal. And for the last, really and truly year, we've been hearing the deal's coming, the deal's coming, the deal's coming, the deal's coming, the deal's coming. We've heard ESPN's involved. We've heard CBS is involved. We've heard, they're going to go to a streaming network. They're going to go to Amazon, right? We've heard they're going to go to the Apple TV. We heard the CW was going to get some games, right? And yet, right now, as we sit right now, July 31st, they do not have a new TV deal. I believe this is the last year of their deal. I believe it expires after the 2023-24 season. And so, as a result, I think what you're seeing from Colorado is fundamentally a vote of no confidence in the Pac-12. That you have seen their 2 high-dollar, high-visibility programs in USC and UCLA already bolt. And they have not been proactive in adding teams. And now they don't have a TV deal? And I think they're looking around saying, why would we stay in what appears to be a dying conference? Why don't we get out? Why don't we beat the posse, so to speak? And so now Colorado will be joining the Big 12. We'll leave the Big 12 after Texas and Oklahoma depart and Colorado joins. That will leave the Big 12 with 13 teams, which makes me crazy. I would propose to you this, and this is only, I would only categorize this as informed speculation. I would be pretty surprised if they started 2024 with an odd number of teams. I'd be pretty surprised. Because that means You're going to have to rotate buys. That means you're going to have to do a lot of different things. There's a lot of weird things that come along whenever you don't have an even number of teams in your conference. I would keep an eye on the Arizona schools. I would keep an eye on Utah. I would not be surprised if the Big 12 wasn't done shopping. So there you go. We have a piece up on TexasFootball.com, by the way. This also means that Deion Sanders is going to be a coach in the Big 12. And that we will have at some point Sonny Dykes versus Deion Sanders, and that this TCU Colorado game in the opener suddenly becomes a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep an eye on there. I wonder if there's another move coming. And as for the Pac-12, Pac-9, they're in dire straits because there's also a lot of rumors that Oregon and Washington are looking for the exits. So it's going to be this could trigger another mini round at least of conference realignment. We have a piece up on TexasFootball.com. Our own Mike Craven talked with a number of assistant coaches or a number of coaches across the Big 12 and just asked them what they thought about Colorado joining. And it's very interesting. The Cliff's Notes version is that they are not scared.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that whenever we get there. But Colorado will be joining the Big 12 once again. Maybe Mizzou will move back to the Big 12.
No one needs that.
Mizzou needs that.
Yeah.
Finally, Pickle, talk about some news that you broke to me because I didn't see this. Did you know, Pickle? You're a North Texas alum, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're a proud North Texas alum.
Mm-hmm.
Are you not? You're not going to do it?
Call.
Thank you. Jeez. What are you even here for if you're not going to call?
Yeah, fair.
North Texas has been playing in their stadium, their beautiful stadium, right there on 35, since 2011 when it opened as Apogee Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Apogee
Stadium there at North Texas. I've made no bones about it. I love Apogee Stadium.
It rules.
I think it is. I haven't been to every G5 stadium. I think it is the ideal G5 stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect size, easy to access, really cool. Still feels modern. 10 years later, like 12 years later, right?
Yeah.
Still feels modern. It's been Apogee Stadium ever since they signed a 20-year deal with Apogee back, which is a software company.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Like a Wi-Fi company based in Austin. However, Apogee Stadium is no more. Tear it down.
No.
The signs, I mean. Because they have a new sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the TCU.
Say it correctly.
DATCU, which is a credit union,
Mm-hmm.
will be, what's it stand for? I need to look this up. What does DATCU say? Denton Area Teachers Credit Union. DATCU will be the new title sponsor of North Texas Stadium. It'll be DATCU Stadium. I will get this wrong 40 times this season. You'll get it wrong a bunch too.
Yeah.
DATCU Stadium will be the new name of North Texas Stadium. Now, Pickle.
No.
They follow in the footsteps of the University of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
University of Houston plays
TDECU.
in Touchdown East Carolina Stadium. TDECU. And now they will play, the TCU Stadium will be home to the North Texas Mean Green. You're not laughing. I don't know why you're not laughing.
Because it's a great fit. Why
it is a great fit.
Why have a naming partner that is not or is based 250 miles south?
I totally agree.
And when you could support teachers. I'm sorry. Do you not support teachers?
I love this partnership. It's great. I also
text your wife and say, hey.
I also reserve the right to giggle because I'm a child.
Well,
okay?
Yes, we all know that.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
it is rather unfortunate.
Adjust your the note you have in your phone with all the FBS stadiums in Texas. That it's no longer Apogee Stadium. It's DATCU Stadium.
Yeah, that's gonna take me so long to get used to.
If you get it right at one point, like naturally, without thinking about it, in the year 2023, I will be impressed.
Yeah, I don't think that happens. We'll
but
be real honest.
Honestly, it's kind of like the Rangers ballpark, the old Rangers ballpark.
But it's still Globe Life.
It's yes.
So that helps.
But what I'm saying is the old the ballpark in Arlington was what I grew up calling it, right? And it changed names a bunch. It was AmeriQuest Field at some point. It was it's now Choctaw Stadium. It was Globe Life Field. It was Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. I always just called it the ballpark.
Yeah.
Like
it is funny because that's kind of the difference between like a stadium that's named after a company rather than a stadium that's named after like a legendary great, like Darryl K. Royal, DKR is always going to be DKR.
Absolutely.
And Joe Jamal Field is always going to be Joe Jamal Field. Like that, I love that because it doesn't change. It means something to the university.
Kyle Field ain't going anywhere.
Kyle Field is not going anywhere.
No.
And it's like those kind of things, like you love it because you know it's never going to change. It's hard when there's actual naming right sponsors.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Pickle, what is the name of the 110-story building in Chicago?
It used to be the Sears Tower. Now it's the Willis Tower.
It's the Sears Tower. It's just like forever. I'm sorry.
See, but it's funny because I wasn't super familiar with that until we went, and it was already the Willis Tower. So I always refer to it in my brain as the Willis Tower.
So by the way, 2009 they changed the stadium, or they changed the name. Mm-hmm. So it's been Willis Tower 14 years. First time I've ever called it that just now.
No, yeah.
So I wonder if you, from your perspective, as somebody who calls that's your second home up there, I wonder
it'll always be Apogee in my heart.
Apogee, whatever,
Yeah, I guarantee you in like the text messages with our whole entire friend group who goes out to the games, it's going to be, what time are y'all getting to Apogee?
Absolutely. Anyway, there's some headlines.
Congratulations to DATCU.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider going to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Now, a word from these goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now.
The Gambling Gauchos are a Texas Tech podcast serving you money lines, memes, and matador content on Twitter, YouTube, and StakingThePlains.com.
Well, let's put it this way. They pay me off in tortillas, I'm going to shoot them right in the eye.
If you're looking for more Big 12 sports content from a host who wants a 25 tacos in 20 minutes and another that can provide a taco bites per minute analytical breakdown of the feed, then Rob and Kyle are the hosts for you. New episodes every Sunday and Thursday on the Republic of Football podcast feed.
Back here on Texas Football Today. Okay. Bye.
I don't know why that wouldn't switch back.
It's Monday, folks. We all had a long weekend. While we were in Houston, right? Mm-hmm. Is that where it was? THSA Coaching School and Convention in Houston, we caught up with our annual conversation with the head coach of the Vandegrift Vipers, Coach Drew Sanders, his State of Vipers address. And I got to be honest, last year felt like we got ahead of the curve and jumped on board the Vipers train early. What do the Vipers have in store this year. What is the state of the Vipers? Let's find out from Vandegrift head coach Drew Sanders here on Texas Football Today.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the 2023 Texas High School Coaches Association Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. I'm Greg Tepper, joined by the head coach, the winningest head coach in Vandegrift history, Coach Drew Sanders, here for our annual State of the Vipers address. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, glad to be here.
I appreciate it. First of all, I understand that the State of the Vipers address almost had to be postponed.
Oh,
Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Basically, for our viewers out there, we decided to take a big family vacation and splurged and went to Italy. But little did I know that the Italian air workers are really upset with their pay rates, and they decided to strike on the day we were leaving, and kind of set us back.
But you negotiated a peace?
I did. I actually negotiated the whole thing. Everybody got raises, and I'm here today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. Let's open it up as we normally do. Coach, what is the state of the Vipers?
I think the state of the Vipers is strong. I think we had our strongest year we've ever had in our history. Next year, for our viewers out there, it's my 15th year at Vandegrift, and so we were excited to make it to our first state title game in 6A. So we were proud of our efforts, and now we've got to find a way to get back there now that we've tasted that.
I would say that obviously along the way, you guys had some remarkable victories. Dripping springs to mind. Yeah. The one that I think is probably the definitive victory in 2022 has to be over Katy. Yeah. I mean, you talk about a perennial power coached by one of the all-time greats who they roll out of bed into a state championship game. From your perspective, how resonant and how huge is that win for not just obviously 2022 to get to a title game, but what that means for you guys going forward?
Yeah, I mean, anybody would have told me that last year that I was going to beat the Katy Tigers to go to a state championship. I would have literally said, stop joking.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that kind of if I went back and watched Steph's interview with me after, I mean, like I was on cloud nine. I mean, I still couldn't believe it had happened, I was just so proud of our kids. It was a really fun thing of like, you guys say it. That's why you play the game.
Yeah.
We weren't picked by anybody, and we weren't a bad team by any means. But to beat them, 9-time state champs, Gary Joseph's a friend of mine. He does such a great job. He is an icon in Texas high school football. His dad is too, and so, for that to happen, we made so many big-time plays and big moments that kind of stuff really can start propelling your program to new levels. We actually made the plays when it counted in that environment, packed house, the Katy band playing the whole time, all the stuff that you hear about. And so I was really proud of our coaching staff and our kids.
You guys get to the title game, fall short to DeSoto. There are some programs that I don't want to say there's a happy to be there feeling. You don't feel like, hey, guys, fantastic. How much of that is in the program, and how much of it is, all right, now we know we're 48 minutes away. That's where we are. How much of it is finding that way to the next step?
I hope that people watch the game. I thought we played like a team that expected to win. Even though we lost, we played really well early. Had a couple plays that didn't go our way early. The drop pick six, a couple of things there. But obviously DeSoto is a great program, and congrats to Coach Mathis. But I hope that I sense around us that we are proud of what we did, but I don't sense anybody saying, well, congrats. We've got a lot of guys back, a lot of guys that played a ton of snaps that are on edge about trying to find a way to prove that they're the best Viper team ever.
One of the guys you've got coming back is actually the 6A cover boy in the 2023 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
First time ever in Vandegrift history.
Miles Coleman. He might actually be here right now. I'm looking around. If you've never seen this guy, he's not huge.
Nope.
I mean, he's one of the most dynamic, fun to watch players in the state. The highlight reel is fun, but as the guy who sees him every day in practice and sees him in the locker room and in the quiet moments, what is it about him that makes him special?
I just thought it was so cool because you could even sense it in the playoff games. You kind of start getting a following, and every time he touched the ball, you could even hear it in the crowd. And when you get tackled for a 10-yard gain, everybody's like, oh, kind of a letdown, And so Miles is so electric with the ball. What I like about Miles is his humbleness and his ability to just be a hard worker. He is one of the best players in the state, and you would never know it talking to him. He is he brings such humility to every conversation. He's a great leader. He's a quiet leader. He's working on being more vocal. That was one of his goals this year, and he's doing a great job of that. He's bulked up in the weight room and looks stronger, and he's ready to lead us on the field next year. You
guys also, replacing a guy like Braden Buchanan is not easy.
Yeah.
However, you guys got a nice addition in the offseason in Deuce Adams and his brother Eli Adams coming in from New Braunfels Canyon. He was spectacular there. Obviously, not a ton of practice time and stuff like that, and getting him on the field. With what you've seen and what you've gotten to know about Deuce Adams and his brother Eli, what are they going to bring to this program?
Well, first of all, their dad was great. He was a great player at Texas. A lot of people may not know that. Mike Adams, he coached for me about 5 years ago, and so that was our connection there. So I was able to hire him back. Really happy to have him. But Eli, receiver, talented. He is probably one of the faster straight-ahead guys we might have on our team. Like, he has got really fast, just top-end speed.
Yeah.
And so I'm pleased to see what that's going to happen, because now you've got Miles in one slot. He can move anywhere. And now if you want to concentrate on him, we have a kind of an over-the-top guy, which I'm really pleased with him. And then Deuce is extremely talented, Louisville commit. He just got there. He's battling with a senior, rising senior, Drew Mestemaker. We'll make that decision here, by first couple of games. But Deuce is running, obviously has a talented arm. You don't commit to Louisville without having that. But his ability to just kind of move around in the pocket is impressive. He's got great top-end speed himself, but his shiftiness, quickness is evident.
One of the things I think is interesting about last year's team, you guys have always been a really strong defensive team. And last year suddenly you guys found yourselves in some shootouts, going back and forth, stuff like that. For this defense, you guys are bringing back, you guys are pretty young, bringing back a lot of that core of that defense. What's going to be the key to taking that next step and getting to that championship level caliber defense?
That's a great question. I thought our defense was point-wise one of our best we've ever had. In the playoffs, we just couldn't. I think we just faced some really good offenses too.
Yeah, the opponents probably had something to do with it.
But our front six, we play that broken stack, and our front six will be very strong this year. Our secondary is replacing some pieces besides our middle guy, Alex Foster, who's all over the place, had 192 tackles last year. And so I'm excited to see who steps up in the secondary. And then our front is very experienced, so I'm looking forward to seeing them pushing people around and be strong.
You guys had your best year in program history last year. You are, as we've said many times in this program, the winningest coach in Vandegrift history.
Yes.
How much of that run to the state championship do you credit to this interview and meeting with Dave Campbell's Texas football in the summer?
I would say a good 8%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I received that.
You like that percent?
I received that. Thank you.
And 92% my players.
Yes.
Coaches,
yeah. Probably. Yeah.
A good 8%.
Hey.
I would say 7% to you and 1% to Steph.
Yep, that's fair. I agree. Yeah. I think I deserve most of the credit in that, but we'll give a token gesture to him. Finally, Coach, with Coach Drew Sanders of the Vandegrift Vipers, you are a Hardin-Simmons guy.
Yes.
Right? You're a cowboy, proud cowboy.
Yes, for sure.
I've heard rumors that you are cutting checks to Mary Hardin Baylor.
Oh, yes. It was a hard decision.
Can you explain yourself, please?
Well, my defense is a couple things. Number one, UMHB wasn't around when I played, so maybe that'll help defend me a little bit. Number two, I had to let them choose, and they both ended up picking UMHB, and it upset a lot of Hardin-Simmons crews. Still, some people still mad at me about that. In a couple years, I'll beg back to try to get back in the Hardin-Simmons fold. We'll see if they'll accept me back.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's but you got to do what's best. Best for the boys.
And they've done good. And my other one's graduated. He's going to Dell to be a sales guy or an analyst at Dell. And then my other one is getting close to finishing.
Okay, so he's going to Dell, so you can start borrowing money from him.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah. He's making way more than I made my first job, I can tell you that.
The state of the Vipers is strong. You heard it here, according to Coach Drew Sanders. Coach, appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany.
There is Drew Sanders, head coach of the Vandegrift Vipers, joining us at THSCA Coaching School and Convention for the annual State of the Vipers address. I'm just saying that last time we did that, they played in Arlington.
Yeah.
So recent history suggests, who knows? That it seems like they've improved every year since we started doing the State of the Vipers address.
This is true.
So, who's to say?
There's still one level of improvement
yeah.
to be made.
But there's only one more step.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta go do it. Anyway, we appreciate Drew Sanders' time. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I guess a programming note, we're doing a show tomorrow and then no more for the rest of the week.
Oh, yeah, we should probably tell people. I'm going to the beach.
Nice. I'm going to Houston to
That's
work.
Like the beach?
It is very much not like the Texan Live office looks nothing like the beach. I can guarantee
you
that.
Well, you could change that. You are like, you could just hang up like all sorts of decorations, get some tiki torches.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it like really beachy in there. Do a beach thing.
I'm sure all the guys would just love that.
I bet they would. Jesse feels like a beach guy.
Jesse, I guarantee you, hates the beach. I don't know why, but I guarantee you Jesse hates the beach. That's our chief broadcast engineer.
Yeah.
Great guy.
It's one of
doesn't strike me as a beach guy.
I'm trying to think of the people who work full-time for us on the editorial side that have never appeared on camera.
That's it.
Dre.
Yeah.
Maybe Dre Matula. I think everyone else. Because remember, we dragged Will on the air. I think it's just Dre. Anyway, we'll get Dre and Jesse on at some point. It'll be fun.
No, we won't.
Hey, you got to have goals, Pickle.
That's I don't want to do. They would hate that. I don't want to put my people through things that they would hate.
I would love it.
Well, that's not my agenda. My agenda is to keep them happy, not you.
Feels like we can find some sort of mutual.
No.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Vandergrift head coach Drew Sanders for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow for the last show of the week on Texas Football Today.